Hello, Mark, and welcome to the show.
Well, thank you very much for having me, and welcome to all the viewers in India.
It has been a boom in the global equity markets for most part of 2021. Will they carry this enthusiasm in 2022 as well?
I think the enthusiasm of investors will not vanish overnight. It's a process that takes time, and maybe in India it will stay at the high level for a while, because the Indian economy is one of the few economies in the world that, despite of everything, is still expanding. We have to see that very clearly. So I think that maybe in India, you have a situation where the economy outperforms the rest of the world, and the stock market continues to do well, maybe not as well as in 2021. But I think globally we need a correction in markets here. There is, as you pointed out, too much optimism among investors, and mostly among investors who have no experience. They are, the people that bought into cryptocurrencies, into meme stocks, concept stocks that have no earnings and so forth.
Equity markets, inflation, commodities, now cryptos, everything seems to be on an upswing. Is this going to end badly for the financial markets, let's say a year from now or 2 years from now?
Well, I think if we look at 2021, one sector that hasn't done well are gold shares, precious metal stocks, and value stocks. Value stocks around the world have been left behind, and what has performed in the US are the FANG and FANG-related stocks: Facebook, Amazon, Netflix, and so forth, Apple, and semiconductor stocks, and stocks like Tesla. But overall, the typical stock hasn't done very well. And I think that we are at the juncture in the markets where these favorite of investors, where hedge funds are heavily weighted, the FANG stocks, I think they will underperform, and the money will flow into value stocks. That's my impression.
What has been your investment strategy, Mark, over the past 1 year?
Well, my strategy is always the same: diversification. I don't need to make speculative gains. I have mostly value stocks in my portfolio and high dividend stocks. In other words, in Europe, I have utilities, and I have some banks here in Asia. They have dividend. When I bought them, they had dividend yields of 4 or 5%. And I have some tobacco companies. And of course, I have some resource companies, because I believe that commodity prices are not gonna collapse. I have gold shares, and then I have real estate around the world, and I have precious metals, and I have fixed interest securities.
What about India? Do you hold any on your portfolio?
I hold some bonds on Indian companies, and occasionally I own shares in the Indian ETF.
Okay.
But at the moment, I have no position. I think the market is fundamentally sound, but fundamentally very expensive. It's the most expensive market in Asia, and I find much better value elsewhere in Asia.
Which other markets where you find value, Mark?
I think there is some value emerging in Indonesia. It has similar characteristics to India, not as well developed as India, but as a country, it's similar. Then I have in Malaysia some holdings, and of course Singapore, Hong Kong. Hong Kong is very cheap.
So what's your advice to investors? How should they approach equity markets in 2022, especially in the case of India?
But you understand, you say advice to investors, it depends on whom. I would say preservation of capital becomes now more important than thinking, how can I make or double my money? You can probably double your money, but you have to take an approach of a casino. I put everything on black, and if at the roulette table red comes out, you lose everything. You understand?
Absolutely.
So as an investor who is interested in investing for the future or for his long term or for his family, there's only one thing: diversification. In real estate, in stocks, cash and fixed income, and precious metals, and maybe some cryptos and maybe some commodities. But the broad asset allocation is this diversification, and not all the money in one country.
Thank you, Marc. Thank you so much for your time. We hope to see you soon.
Well, same. Bye-bye. And Merry Christmas to all your viewers.
If you like this video, share it and subscribe to Business Standard. For more news, views and insights, log on to www.business-standard.com. Do also follow us on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Telegram and LinkedIn.